I demand 50% of her estate, including the inheritance. Daniel's lawyer sneered, the words echoing through the sterile Nashville courtroom. My stomach clenched, but I kept my face neutral. My name is Olivia Hanson. I'm 43, and I was watching the man I married 5 years ago try to execute a multi-million-dollar financial raid on my life. Daniel sat across the room, perfectly tailored in a suit I paid for, wearing that sickeningly confident smirk. He believed he had already won. I glanced at the gallery. They were all leaning forward, mesmerized by the drama, imagining the millions Daniel was about to walk away with. Even the local financial reporters were scribbling furiously. Judge Miller, a severe woman who had presided over decades of family court drama, looked down at the initial claims. Daniel turned slightly and gave me a little head tilt, a silent, arrogant, game-over gesture. That was the spark. 5 years of what I thought was love revealed to be a carefully constructed, gold-plated lie. I tightened my grip on my simple leather purse, feeling the thin manila envelope resting inside. I knew he hadn't seen this coming. "Miss Hanson," the judge addressed me, "do you wish to make an opening statement regarding the division of assets?" I stood up slowly, my voice steady. "Your Honor, before we proceed, I believe there is one piece of evidence the court must review." This was it. The moment I traded desperation for definitive vengeance. To appreciate the trap, you need to understand the bait. I met Daniel 3 years after my father passed away, leaving me majority control of our successful regional logistics company, Hanson Transport Solutions. I was financially successful, but emotionally vulnerable. Daniel, a sales manager, swept me off my feet at a business gala. He was charismatic, attentive, and constantly praised my business acumen. "You're an empire builder, Olivia," he'd coo. I mistook admiration for love. In reality, he was assessing the value of the kingdom. Our courtship was a whirlwind. He spent lavishly, always insisting on covering dinner, flights, anything to appear financially secure. He was investing, all right, but his investment was me. When he proposed 8 months later, I hesitated, but he was persistent. "I know what I want, and what I want is our future." My corporate attorney, Amelia, was adamant. "A successful woman needs protection, Olivia." I nervously brought up the prenuptial agreement, but Daniel was brilliant. He laughed. "Prenup? Of course. I'm marrying you, not your spreadsheet. Sign whatever makes you comfortable." He signed it without reading a single line, joking, "Love is the only contract that matters." That casual confidence convinced me he wasn't after my money. That negligence was the core of my revenge. My lawyer, however, had been meticulous, safeguarding all premarital assets and, crucially, any future inheritance or business growth. The true test came 2 years into the marriage when my elderly grandmother passed away and left me her extensive managed stock portfolio, a massive, unexpected $3.2 million. Daniel's reaction was immediate and predatory. His eyes glazed over. "We hit the jackpot, babe. We're set for life." His tone shifted from loving partner to entitled beneficiary. Within months, his self-funded career suddenly ended, replaced by exploring entrepreneurship. This meant driving a new luxury sports car, a gift to himself, sinking 6 figures into a failed startup, and joining the most expensive private golf club in the state. Every time I questioned his extravagant spending, he'd use the same line. "We're partners, Olivia. You have to trust me." The breaking point arrived when I found a text exchange where he complained to a friend that the old lady's money should have been easier to access. It was clear. He hadn't married me. He'd merged with my bank account. When I filed for divorce, I knew his ego would demand a fight. So I preemptively prepared the ultimate defense. I took a breath and placed the manila envelope on the clerk's desk, who passed it to Judge Miller. Daniel's smugness instantly vanished, replaced by confusion. "Your Honor," I stated clearly, "this document is a properly executed prenuptial agreement signed by both parties 5 years ago." The courtroom froze. Daniel's attorney, a fast-talking slickster, bolted upright. "Objection! We were not notified. This is procedural ambush." "Silence, counsel," Judge Miller ordered. She broke the seal and began reading. The silence in the room became crushing. I watched Daniel frantically whisper to his lawyer, "I told you I signed something, but it was just 1 page. She tricked me." After several long minutes, the judge lowered the document, her expression cold and judicial. "This is a comprehensive agreement, dated and witnessed 6 weeks before the marriage. It explicitly waives the right to independent counsel and confirms the financial disclosures were reviewed." The lawyer slumped. Daniel's face was now pale, his desperation fully visible. He lunged forward. "I didn't read it. I thought it was boilerplate." The judge fixed him with a stare that could freeze lava. "Mr. Hayes, you signed a legal contract without reading it, waived your right to counsel, and now ask this court to nullify it because you didn't take it seriously. That is not how law works." The judge's voice cracked like a whip as she read the key sections aloud for the entire courtroom to hear. Section 4, paragraph B. Any inheritance received by either party during the marriage shall be considered separate property and shall not be subject to division upon divorce. Section 6. Neither party shall be entitled to alimony or spousal support. Daniel lost control, shouting, "This is a fraud! I supported her emotionally." The judge's voice was ice cold. "Mr. Hayes, you are out of order." She returned to the documents. "Miss Hanson has maintained scrupulous separation of inherited funds. I therefore find the prenuptial agreement to be valid and completely binding. Mr. Hayes, you are entitled to exactly 0 assets from this marriage." The courtroom gasped. Then I heard it. A reporter near the back stifled a loud, choking laugh. Daniel had gone from expecting millions to receiving nothing. The judge's smile was razor sharp. "It does count for something, Mr. Hayes. It counts as an expensive lesson in reading legal documents before signing them." The gavel slammed down, the sound echoing the collapse of Daniel's 5-year scheme. I stood up, watching Daniel sit stunned, his entire world demolished by the single piece of paper he was too arrogant to read. He called out, "We need to talk. This is unfair." I turned to him one last time, my voice quiet and absolute. "Daniel, it was over the moment you prioritized my wallet over my heart. The prenuptial agreement didn't ruin your plan. Your own lazy greed did." His subsequent bankruptcy and professional shaming in Nashville became a cautionary tale. He lost the car and the club membership, trading his tailored suits for an entry-level job and a couch at his parents' house. I used a portion of my protected wealth to launch a foundation providing financial literacy and legal defense for women against predators like Daniel. My grandmother's wisdom, preserved in that legal document, saved me from more than just financial ruin. It proved the most important lesson. The only true security is the one you build yourself, and sometimes the sweetest revenge is simply letting the contract speak for itself.